Hey, Cinnamon Rage here, and welcome to Race 2 of AOR Season 18, and we're at Bahrain this week. Definitely guaranteed a dry race, and for once I'm actually showing you the formation lap. And the reason for this is because in this game, if you go into the race with cold tyres, you're in a bit of trouble. And as you can see, car in front takes out the car in front of him, and I go into the back because just they stop moving. They don't drive forward once they've done it, so I end up getting kicked to the grid within a third of the lap. So I'm going to start with cold tyres here, and you can see the car in front, the two of them start wobbling, so I come off the gas a bit and I lose quite a bit of time and a couple of FD dive bombs down the middle, but yeah, no contact, so obviously it worked quite well. But that's put me from P9 to P13, so a 4-place drop. So not exactly a great start to the race, to be honest. So just going to try and keep it clean on the medium tyres, and I will during the race be going on to the hard tyres. I think I'd set it around about lap 11, so just need to avoid any damage, play it safe. You can see I'm sitting out wide here, hoping others. I was trying to get the cut back there and just put too much power down on tyres that are probably still not quite up to temperature yet. And this has got to be one of the big hopes. That is an incredibly difficult corner. I mean, it's probably one of the worst corners in F1, and you've got to assume people are going to make mistakes, so you've got to hope they make mistakes. But for the next spell of the race, to be perfectly honest, not a huge amount actually happens. I just kind of sit behind John Boy and just in front of Glaring Christoph. Now John Boy is on the slower tyre, so I really should be keeping pace, and you can see him locking up there a wee bit, which allows me to get a wee bit closer. So dropping it fast forward, you can see I'm going to make a move on him here, but it just wasn't to be. I knew I was coming in quite tight to the corner, and I ended up sort of backing out of it. That does put me more into the clutches of Glaring Christoph, and he does have a wee look up, but actually John Boy seems to break incredibly early in a lock up, and you can see me and Christoph kind of going side by side, but Christoph bangs into me a couple of times, and I was kind of curious about this, so luckily it actually showed up on my showroom theatre replay, and you can see here, like, there's nowhere for me really to be going. I'm more than half in the rumble strip, and Chris comes back in for a second hit. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying he actually came back into the second hit. As we pass there, it's Stato who's off at the side, and I think Christoph maybe get damage off him, but as I say, I think it's one of those things that once you make contact, it kind of kicks the car out. You get a bit of a wobble on, and you kind of correct the wobble, but it kind of means you end up bumping in again. So Christoph really dropped off. I believe he went in for pit, but it means I'm not actually 100% sure if you get damage out of it. But as you can see, I mean, I was as far left as I could really be, and it just looks amusing because it does look like he basically took a second ram at me, but as I say, I don't actually believe that's what happened. Got a corner cut warning there. It was the first of two, so I never got a 3-second penalty, but I'm kind of keeping on to the back of John Boy and Blazer Guns. I'd said I'm not just going to sit behind them because I'm not really going to get a move done here. I was more hoping they would actually make a mistake and I would be able to profit from it, but that was not to be. But it was some nice clean racing, something I've not had in league racing for a while, because I turned off racing line in the first season I did it. I was in a league with people with assists, which again, I have to say I'm in again here, which does give them a not insignificant advantage. But you can see Blazer Guns just loses the back end, and if we rewind it, you can actually see just how close I got. I mean, that was a total squeaky bum brown trouser moment there, and it cost me a lot of time to John Boy, but I do catch up. Can't remember what lap we were on there, but let's assume 2. I get back within 2 laps, back on to John Boy in the DRS. Gonna run overtake, which I don't tend to do that often, but I get quite a lot of speed here. drop it into low just to give me better traction out the next series of corners. You can see he goes for the cutback, and I do try and leave lots of room on the outside as well, but by then he'd already moved in behind me, so it was really nice clean racing with myself and John Boy, I would like to think. And yeah, it's been quite enjoyable. Again, as we look out to my right hand side there, but it's just a difficult place to do it through that central section there, just at the start of Sector 2. But yeah, just kind of gonna fast forward again for a wee bit. Just kind of holding pace, but I do make a mistake. I've got a bit of a habit of getting a wee bit sloppy, but you can see I'm maybe braking sometimes. I think there are certain corners where just John Boy just caught right up with me. Honestly, every time I see it, I just think of the Waltons. But anyway, forgetting about that. I'd run wide here. I'd like to think this wasn't an unsafe rejoin, but I do try and, you can see I keep very much to the right before I knew he'd sort of backed out. But yeah, any kind of gap that I'd had was gone ultimately. And it's just getting quite tight. He's going to have a really close run on me, and you'll see I'll look back in a wee second and he is super close. I decide, I may as well go defensive with it. I lower early just to save, because you can see I'm running low on ERS. But yeah, again he goes for the cutback, and I'd like to think again giving plenty of room, and we've kind of come out. I don't know if I get a slightly better run, but yeah, he kind of looks like he's actually going to go behind, but I go deep, and yeah, I managed to hold it on the inside. And again, John Boy just gives the room. To be honest, I was really happy with this sort of section of the battling within the race. There are poor decisions making to come up that you're going to see. At this point I pitted anyway, so I probably didn't need to actually fight so hard for the place, but yeah, just slowing him down a wee bit and not letting him get away was probably still the right thing to do. But jumping on to lap 16, we're gonna pass here Grizzly Bear, who's obviously spun. It is a difficult section. You run onto the right hand side there, onto the curbs, and the chances of you holding your car are pretty slim. Realistically, you just got to let go of the accelerator, dab a brakes, and just hope for the best. But even though he spun, I think he was about 5 seconds up the road at the point that he spun, 5.7, something in that region. And you can see I'm still making mistakes, but I am holding it on in front of him as we move on to lap 19. And it's just a daft thing to do. You could see we were coming, and he goes across the track. Now, he ghosted, so at least I didn't DNF, but I lose a place to Grizzly Bear here because of bad decision making. So that's bad decision making one. It's just the wrong thing to do. Just stay static. People will know where you are and be able to avoid you, but no, just very frustrating, to be honest. It cost me a place when at that point I was maybe still within DRS, but I was getting a wee bit of a rhythm going. But a couple of laps later I catch up, and again just going to try and hang it round outside, try and leave lots of room in the corner, and get a wee bit of a corner cut in there because I was just trying not to run too wide. But you can see how close Grizzly is at this point, and yeah, again I just run it a wee bit deep, trying to give a wee bit of room in the corner, and there's a wee tap here, but yeah, it's just one of those things. But it does cost me a wee bit of time. Probably wasn't much point kind of going for it, but I didn't realise I was still slightly a wee bit alongside. So yeah, we're just going to fast forward because I'm going to make up the time again. My pace was okay. I think I was maybe struggling from a wee bit of too high downforce. I was just going for a very stable car, and the hope that others would make mistakes. But again, it's easier not to make mistakes when the game is, although you can see Grizzly Bear almost lost it there, but it is a bit easier not to make mistakes when essentially the game is telling me where to brake, etc. But you can see I'm making a bit of progress. There's quite a lot of people now. There's a Donut and John Boy right behind me, and you can see here actually Donut goes up my inside. He is on the faster tyre, and you'll see him appear here on the left and then just disappear right off again as he loses the back end of the car. So at this point I've now got John Boy back behind me again, who actually seems he's on the fastest lap. I never noticed that during the race, but if he can get in the top 10, then basically he's getting a bonus point, and I get a fairly poor run there onto the start-finish straight, but just use up my overtake, use up my ERS, although I go down again quite early, and again I've taken quite a tight line in, but yeah, Grizzly Bear doesn't fight it too much. So that's me back up to P8. The fourth suspect, I can't exactly remember where he was, but it didn't really matter because this happens. And yeah, that's me, got damage, rewinding. Like, I don't know why he was going up the inside. It was just, again, bad decision making. It's just an utterly daft move. Like, he can't go up there, but actually can't really see it massively well, and I actually forgot to interject it here, but you can see that John Boy's just stopped coming. And you'll see I've got the race highlights, which I've got from Codemaster's little pre-made kind of highlight reel they do after the race, and you'll just see what actually happened there. And so I feel quite sorry for John Boy, but across the line in low fuel mode, get the fuel pretty much bang on. I finish 8th. I was 7 seconds behind the fourth suspect after he gets 5-second penalty, and getting my pace and getting spun and stuff. I honestly believe I could have been quite close at the end, but here are the highlights. As you can see, yeah, got a wee bit bundled up, and unfortunately I braked early and there was a massive gap down the middle, and my Alpha and the Toro Rosso went down it, which, as I said earlier, put me second last from 9th out of 15. So yeah, and this is the footage again with Glaring Christoph. I had nowhere to go, and yeah, and the obligatory slow-mo shot with my new helmet design, which I quite like. Probably should be orange to match the intro, but hey ho. And this was me getting my overtake on John Boy, so yeah, kind of happy. Highlights reel for once have actually got something to show rather than just doing that weird follow. But yeah, you can see John Boy come back at me here. But no, I'm just happy. I enjoyed this race. And 8th though, just because of some bad decision making. Could have been a bit better, poor start. Yeah, I hurt myself, to be honest, in this race. I don't really know where it would have been pace wise. I haven't gone through the main table that much, but yeah, this was the move. It kind of spun us out, and if you see John Boy in the background, nowhere to go, DNF. So I crossed line 8th. It's not ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. So China next week, and hope to see you then. And yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Catch you later.